What advice would you give to young folks listening to this all over the world who look up to you and find your story inspiring? Who want to be maybe the next Sundar Pichai? Who want to create companies, build something that has a lot of impact in the world?
Look, you have a lot of luck along the way, but you obviously have to make smart choices. You're thinking about what you want to do. Your brain is telling you something. But when you do things, I think it's important to kind of listen to your heart and see whether you actually enjoy doing it, right? That feeling of if you love what you do, it's so much easier and you're going to see the best version of yourself. It's easier said than done. I think it's tough to find things you love doing. Um, But I think kind of listening to your heart a bit more than your mind in terms of figuring out what you want to do, I think is one of the best things I would tell people. The second thing is, I mean, trying to work with people who you feel at various points in my life, I worked with people who I felt were better than me, right? Kind of like, you almost are sitting in a room talking to someone and they're like, wow, like, and you want that feeling a few times, trying to get yourself in a position where you're working with people who you feel are kind of like stretching your abilities is what helps you grow, I think. So putting yourself in uncomfortable situations. And I think often you'll surprise yourself. So I think being open-minded enough to kind of put yourself in those positions is maybe another thing I would say.
What lessons can we learn, maybe from an outsider perspective? For me, looking at your story and gotten to know you a bit, you're humble, you're kind. Usually, when I think of somebody who has had a journey like yours and climbs to the very top of leadership, they're usually in a cutthroat world. They're usually going to be a bit of an asshole. So, what wisdom are we supposed to draw from the fact that your general approach is of balance, of humility, of kindness, listening to everybody? What's your secret?
I do get angry. I do get frustrated. I have the same emotions all of us do, right, in the context of work and everything. But a few things, right? I think, over time, I figured out the best way to get the most out of people. You kind of find mission oriented people who are on the shared journey, who have this inner drive to excellence, to do the best. And you kind of motivate people and you can achieve a lot that way, right? And so it often tends to work out that way. But have there been times like, I lose it? Yeah, but not maybe less often than others. And maybe over the years, less and less so because I find it's not needed to achieve what you need to do.
So losing your shit has not been productive.
Yeah, less often than not. I think
Okay.
people respond to that.
Yeah.
They may do stuff to react to that, like what you actually want them to do the right thing, and so maybe there's a bit of like sports. I'm a sports fan. In football, coaches in soccer, that football. People often talk about like man management, right? Great coaches do, right? I think there is an element of that in our lives. How do you get the best out of the people you work with? At times you're working with people who are so committed to achieving. If they've done something wrong, they feel it more than you do, right? So you treat them differently than occasionally there are people who you need to clearly let them know like that wasn't okay or whatever it is. But I've often found that not to be the case.
And sometimes the right words at the right time, spoken firmly, can reverberate through time.
Also, sometimes the unspoken words. People can sometimes see that, like, you're unhappy without you saying it. And so sometimes the silence can deliver that message even more.
Sometimes less is more.